broadcaster for Fox Sports, and he also is like a bodybuilder, would you call him? Is that what
a competitive bodybuilder?
Yeah.
I think so.
We were just talking during the break. He is in such good shape. His body rejects snacks.
Yeah, or like bad food.
It rejects it immediately. My body rejects discipline. So it just says, none of that nonsense. Give me another slice of pizza.
Exactly. What are you doing? What is this vegetable?
Greg Jennings joining us, a decade in the league. Multiple-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl. Man, you have got, some people can do what you can do. It's very rare. You're a very disciplined guy, and good for you. So I got to be honest. I'm coming to terms with this. I've listened to smart people talk about this, that we just have to accept that sometimes Aaron Rodgers is a little dramatic. And he's going to give you these interviews and these pauses. And I don't love it from my star quarterback. I don't love him pointing fingers at Matt LaFleur. But I've got to come to terms with, I do like a life where not everybody's the same. It adds color and flavor to our lives. So when Aaron had a very dramatic post-game commentary, what was your first reaction to it after the loss and his thoughts?
I honestly didn't think it was dramatic. I thought it was real. And the reason why I thought it was real is because anytime you have like a start to the season with the draft and you draft the Jordan Love and there's all these questions and this stuff out there about what fueled Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the type of season that they had, which was a success. But it wasn't a success in their book because they didn't accomplish the ultimate goal. What that does after you lose is it brings all of that stuff that we could have done and we should have done back to the forefront. And that's what it is. The reality of it is he feels like they could have done more prior to the start of the season.
Yeah.
And it starts with the draft. And so there is so much uncertainty when you look at the amount of free agents that they have on that current roster that potentially will not be back there, that kind of puts in question whether they will even be a contending team. And that is hard for someone to even digest when you think about the quarterback that you have in Aaron Rodgers, that the Green Bay Packers, with him being healthy, aren't a contending team because you haven't put the personnel together to support what he provides. That's what's frustrating, I think, for Aaron Rodgers, and that's what's in question for the Green Bay Packers.
When they went conservative at the end of the game, did you feel like, oh, I've seen that before, or from Green Bay, or were you kind of surprised? How'd that land for you?
I was surprised. I was thoroughly surprised because that had not been their approach all year. It just hasn't. They've been very aggressive. They've been all about bringing out their same formation, variation, and personnel to just give themselves the best opportunity to score and to put points on the board. And I'm sure that they did what they felt they needed to do, but it just didn't work. And that Tampa Bay Bucs team deserves a lot of credit. Defensively, Todd Bowles, I thought his game plan was executed flawlessly for the most part with the personnel that was out there on the field competing against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. So Matt Stafford's on the block. Now, be as honest as you can. When you were beating him every year in Green Bay, I mean, you were. I know everybody tells me how talented he is. What did you guys think about Stafford?
That he just didn't have that factor. Whatever that factor is that Aaron Rodgers has, that Tom Brady has, that Russell Wilson has, that the Patrick Mahomes, that those elite guys, like as far as talent, as far as ability, he's up there.
Yeah.
You put him right up there with all of those guys. But when it comes to leadership, can he elevate the guys around him? Has he been successful doing that? That's where it's like, it comes into question. And then sitting down with him and just talking to so many different quarterbacks and just getting to know their train of thought throughout the week and how they progress and how they kind of prepare themselves. It just was a little different with Matthew Stafford even this year. And I'm not saying that he doesn't prepare himself like a true pro, but it's different than talking to an Aaron Rodgers who's very intentional and direct when it comes to what they're trying to accomplish. It's like they're in unison with one another, he and Matt LaFleur and Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, as much as we wanted to question all of that, they kind of were in lockstep. And sometimes you just didn't get that sense with Matthew Stafford. But for me, his talent, and I know I listened to your last little blurb segment of talent gets coaches fired. They do. But talent also gives coaches another shot, gives them kind of an extended leash and kind of a life jacket, if you will, because everyone says, well, they do have the talent now. So now it gives a coach an opportunity to see if he can do something different that a previous coach wasn't able to do.
But you started saying, but your very first segment, which was, is just not quite something kind of, and that's my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what Chris Paul has. It's what Damian Lillard, there's something in Chris Paul. He just pushes guys. And I like the word you use. Aaron's very intentional. And I've always felt Stafford plays with a casualness, just a little casual for me, and I'm not a fan. Now, so Deshaun Watson is requesting a trade, not demanding, but requesting. So have you ever had a teammate that did that in your career? Did anybody ever demand a trade anywhere you were at?
Not that I can recall. No
Okay.
one ever demanded a trade.
Okay, so it's very, very rare in the NFL. It's incredibly rare. If you were the Texans, and he just said, "I want out," I mean, you're not going to get equal value. I mean, what do you make of the whole situation?
Well, it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's on them. This is on them. When you sit down and you talk to Deshaun Watson or you talk to any player of that caliber, we're not getting hearsay. This has come from Deshaun Watson's mouth as far as them saying to him he would be a part. Whatever that looked like was up to them. He would be a part of the decision-making process moving forward, whether it was hiring a GM, whether it was consulting with him when it comes to hiring a head coach. And he was not. And you look at what he's been able to provide this organization. And I compare it to, and I know people are going to say, he's not Michael Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan wasn't quite Michael Jordan when he first got to the Chicago Bulls, but they knew what they had.
Right.
They knew they had a transcendent player that was going to change the landscape of that organization. And so they included him in almost every decision moving forward up until the 6 titles. And then it was like, you know what? We're going a different direction. We're not going to include you. What happens? Jordan goes his separate ways. This is what we're seeing now early in the career, something that was very rare with a quarterback in the National Football League. He's done any and everything that they've asked him to do. The one thing that he wanted to be a part of, they excluded him. And when you think about teams, every team has this players council, and they want players to be a part of decision makings and have input when they want them to have input. But when the player now wants to have some input or some say or give an idea or a thought, they're like, no, we don't need your assistance in that. We got it. You stay downstairs. And that is posed a problem when you have an elite player like this that you have not supported. And we all have seen they have just not supported Deshaun Watson to the ability of what we've seen with so many other quarterbacks.
By the way, before we let you go, you're official. You do bodybuilding. It's very disciplined. Okay, so like, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a bagel, a Thomas bagel with 4 eggs and 8 ounces of egg whites.
That's not bad. That's not, you're not starving yourself. And then what'd you eat? What'd you eat 90 minutes later?
350 grams of rice, white rice, and 7 ounces of steak.
He eats a lot. He just doesn't eat bad food.
I don't eat bad. That's it. I eat a lot. I consume quite a bit, but I don't eat the junk.
Would you, if I made you eat a Kit Kat on the air, would you? And I give you $1,000, would you do it?
Would I eat a Kit Kat? Right now, I would eat a Kit Kat. I'm bulking. I could eat a Kit Kat. I'm not a sweet person. Right. Bulking season.
Yeah, I have that. It's called December. All right, I got to go. Greg Jennings, good seeing you. He's very disciplined.
My sister did one of those fitness competitions. My best friend did as well. He used to drink a lot of water.
My ex-wife did that too.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to recruit me for it. I was like, yeah, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
That's
Listen,
my
listen,
lifestyle.
I think I am a big believer in moderation.
Yeah, I'm a big moderation person as well. But I don't like during the week. I have a meal plan. I don't